Hello. Today I'm going to be taking a quick look at the Grisogono Instrumento Tondo GMT, a jewelry-inspired watch, which can be a bad thing or a good thing depending on your tastes. The watch has this stunning sculpture to it that it bends around the wrist instead of sits atop. Even the sapphire crystal there on the top bends along with the watch. Absolutely stunning design, definitely jewelry inspired. It does feature a highly polished external casing measuring about 37.5 millimeters across that looks fantastic. However, it is very prone to the slightest of scratching. So even, a scratchy sweater can even put a few small scratches on something this polished. Furthering that it is a dress watch, it is only 30-meter water resistant. For me, that's just simply not enough for my day-to-day wears. So definitely in the dress watch category, because 30 meters, maybe an unexpected rain shower, you'll be okay, but not much past that. The crown is pushed down and not screw in. Oh, let's see if I can pop it there. There we go. And it only has that one setting. The GMT is obviously activated through the key over there, but yeah, just a push down crown, nothing fancy, just simple as that. But it does have that stunning, very beautiful crystal there on the top. As you can see, it hits the light brilliantly, and this is just on the camera, so this isn't even just out in direct sunlight, it's just in my room. And it absolutely has a fantastic glimmer to it. So definitely going into that jewelry side of things. Furthering the jewelry, you can definitely tell by the dial how well crafted it is. It's got that more artsy feel to it. So it's got the inner oval there and a navy sunburst blue. And then the external is a black culoche, which is that French detailing there on the side. Let's see if I can pick that up. Okay, so you can kind of see it there. There you go. See how it has that striping there in the middle. And then the numerals are just sort of painted there on top. But this watch does feature fantastic lume. The lume does glow very nicely. There's no there's no way you're not going to be able to see it if the case comes where you need it. So the entire watch hugs the wrist by way of this, again, very jewelry, very well done, high polished alligator strap. You can definitely tell that this is a jewelry company just in the strap alone, whereas your higher horology specific brands might feature a more durable, thicker band that's rubber based in the middle, so more inclined for everyday wear, where this is just straight alligator leather, highly handcrafted. Again, though, very easy to crease and get damaged, so you do need to be wary about that if looking at this watch. Maybe a aftermarket band if you're going to wear it more often. These watch wristbands are cut to size, so this one is sitting at 70 by 60, but the Grisogono does offer other sizes, so you can get a 55 on one of the sides, etc., so that it'll fit your wrist exactly without any extra band coming out the other side. So it clasps together with this double deployant clip-in style clasp. Very well done. The clasp, of course, is high polished, just like the external casing of the watch. Look, that popped out there. And it does feature their logo in their name there. Very well engraved into there. I'm pretty sure that's just laser done, but it is nice and deep and is not going anywhere from just some desk diving or anything like that. So that's a nice little touch there. Furthering on the dial itself, or the face itself, is at the 12 o'clock is where your GMT hand will sit. So that's how you can adjust that to change And then at the bottom here is a power reserve indicator. So as the watch winds, that meter will increase, saying that you have more power. So I'll get that up a little bit just to show. And there you go. So just simply done. One thing that I do like about this watch that a lot of jewelry inspired and a lot of fashion watches don't have is it actually has the minute numerals on there, so you can tell exactly what minute it is. And I'm the type that doesn't look at their phone for everything and wear a watch just as an accessory. I actually use my watches, so it is nice to even have a dress watch that has something that you can clearly tell the time on, not just kind of guess what exact minute it is. That is important to me. These things are, in the long run, tools, ultimately tools, and not just a fashion accessory as so many people are treating them today. But I do really appreciate that in these higher end jewelry watches, some of them are putting those in so you can actually use it for what its intended purpose is, which is nice. So then you double having a beautiful jewelry piece and actually being able to use it for what it is. So going back to the back here, you just push those two buttons to open that up. We're going to look at the movement, which is an ETA 2892, a very dependable, easy to work on. So when you need to service it, it's not going to cost you much. It's very basic, however, it's a great movement. ETA, or ETA as some would say, produce fantastic, reliable movements that fit in many different brands' watches. So this isn't anything too subpar. Now, it's no in-house movement, of course. This is a jewelry brand, not a horology watchmaking brand. But you cannot go wrong with an ETA 2892. They will last forever as long as you treat them right. And this powerful and beautiful ETA 2892 is been rhodium treated in that black kind of finish, so it adds like that extra character to give it its own touch to the brand instead of just being a base ETA movement right out of the box, which is nice. When you flip the watch over, you're not just looking at some generic movement. They actually did put a little bit of their own touches, but other than that, they didn't do too much other customizing. You can see that it doesn't have any sort of detailing on the movement, which is a little bit disappointing because when you look at the front of the watch and the shape of the watch, everything is extremely well done. And then you get to the engine and it's a little bit plain. And for these higher end jewelry watches, I would expect a little bit more detailing on the movement itself. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. I guess I'm not really a big dress watch fan in general because, again, the negatives like scratching this highly polished, you're going to scratch it. There's no way you're not going to. So buying this watch, just know it's not going to stay perfect. You can keep having it polished. However, in some worlds, polishing is frowned upon because obviously you're taking away material from the watch and eventually going to even change the shape if you keep polishing it. But overall, it's a very stunning and artful creation with the drawback of it needing to be treated very gently. So not something I'd wear to the office every day, but maybe a very important meeting or to an event or a social or something that you're going to be showing off a little bit more, maybe wearing a dinner jacket instead of just a typical blazer or sport coat. But overall, I do like the watch. I don't think it's something that I would wear too often. So if you're looking on spending money on just one watch and not a ton, I don't think this would be the way to go because you're just not going to get that much usability out of it other than for those very specific events. So the kind of money that they ask for these things is pretty high for what you're getting. Truthfully, welcome to the high jewelry world. They're going to upcharge for their little artsy tastes and their curves and all of that thing, all those sort of features. But for a 30 millimeter watch, ultimately that's water resistant, very easily scratched, and a base movement, I think it's a little bit too expensive for what it is. Me personally, I'd rather buy a Rolex Submariner that still looks fantastic and can be worn in dress occasions, whereas this only can be worn in dress occasions, and that one you can take other places and wear in a day-to-day aspect, and even has its own in-house movement. That's a beautiful movement. So for what these things are being sold for, not really my taste. However, I do see somebody liking the uniqueness of this dial, the beauty of this polish. I guess if you have a high range of watches in your collection, this would not be too hard to add to it, because you are already spending a lot of money on different watches and have others to fill that void. So this would be nice to just put on every once in a while for a nicer event without too much worry. However, again, if it's your even up to like a 3-watch collection, I don't think this has too much business being in it. I have a watch on this hand already, so I'll display it on this hand on my right and show you kind of how nicely it does fit on the wrist, though. I know I just talked a lot of negatives, so let's go back to some positives. It fits beautifully, and I have a small wrist, about a 6 3/4, but to a 7, but it sits absolutely beautiful on the wrist. Very comfortable. It's not very heavy. It's very comfortable on the wrist. I don't know exact weight to it. I don't think it lists the specs on the website. It does on the gold. I think the gold was about 4 ounces, but for the steel, I didn't see any exact weight specifications. But truthfully, it's not heavy. It's not a heavy watch. It fits nicely. Almost has that kind of appearance of the AP, what do they call that? The millenary, I think. It's something along those lines. The Audemars Piguet millenary has a similar sort of styling, and it's a similar watch, so this would be that kind of main competition. Truthfully, ultimately, I don't think I would wear either of these watches unless I had many watches in my collection. Obviously, this one is mine. I don't get these watches from anywhere except for my own collection. This one is mine, but I probably will be selling it just because I just don't see it long term being something that I would wear. However, for those of you who do go to a lot of nice events and things like that, this might be something to look into. But that's really it. Very artful, very beautiful creation, unique, stands out, would be a good talking piece, fits flush on the wrist, comfortable, but definitely need to be gentle with it because it will get damaged quite easily, whether it be from water, scratches, or just daily wear. So that wraps up the Grisogono Instrumento Tondo GMT. Thanks for watching.